Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by mountains, there lived a 24-year-old young man named Marco. He was very restless, and his mind was always filled with thoughts. All through the day, different ideas came and went, making him feel uneasy and tired. He often felt sorrow for his past and worried a lot about his future. Because of these constant thoughts, his mind was like a storm. He could not feel calm, could not sleep well, and had even forgotten how to smile. One day, Marco heard about a distant village in the hills. People said that a wise old man lived there. That man was once a famous psychologist in the city. He had guided many people in his life and taught them the way to find peace in their minds. Now he was old. He had left the busy city life and begun living in a quiet village close to nature. At times, he gave advice to those who visited him. Marco grew curious and hopeful. He decided that he must go and meet this old man. He thought, perhaps this wise man can help me discover peace. After many days of long and tiring travel, Marco finally reached the village in the hills. There he saw a small house covered in greenery. On its porch the old man sat quietly, his eyes closed, his face calm and peaceful. Marco stepped closer and said softly, "Grandfather, my mind is restless. I cannot stop thinking. I want peace in my heart. Can you help me?" Slowly, the old man opened his eyes and gave a gentle smile. "So, you are searching for peace," he said. "Then come with me. I will give you a simple task." He led Marco into his yard, filled a glass completely to the top with water, and handed it to him. "Walk from here to the edge of the village and return," he said, "but be sure not to spill even a single drop." Marco looked surprised, yet he wished to succeed, so he accepted the task. He held the glass with care and began walking. The road was narrow and crowded. Some people walked, some hurried. Shopkeepers called to buyers and dogs barked loudly, but Marco ignored all of it. His eyes stayed fixed on the glass. He walked slowly, carefully, step by step. People stared at him with surprise, but none disturbed him, for they knew he was learning something meaningful. At last, Marco returned to the old man and said, "Grandfather, I did it. I spilled not a single drop of water." The old man nodded and smiled. Then he asked, "Good, but tell me, did you notice the children playing nearby? Did you hear the barking dogs?" Marco looked surprised again. "No," he replied. "I did not see or hear anything. I was only watching the glass." The old man smiled once more and said gently, "That is the secret, something that was always inside you, but you never knew. When your mind rests in the present moment, there is no space for fear, no worry, and no needless thought." As you held the glass, your mind was silent. You were not sad about the past, nor afraid of the future. Slowly, Marco began to realize this was the peace he had been seeking. Peace is not something we search for outside. It is already within us when we live in the present moment. Marco bowed his head and whispered, "Grandfather, now I see. If I want to calm my mind, I must keep it in this moment. That is when true peace comes." The old man smiled again. The sun was setting. The last rays touched the earth, and birds returned to their nests. Marco walked home, no longer the restless young man he once had been. He was changed. Peace lived within him now, for he had learned how to guide his mind. If this story touched you, remember, wisdom begins when we learn to live in the present moment. Stay inspired, stay peaceful, and carry these lessons with you always.